so much for joining me. My name is Kay Thompson, and this is the latest episode of A Lesson in Real Estate. And today, I thought that I would bring an interesting topic to you guys, something that has actually been a part of real estate for a really long time, but we really don't think about it in terms of real estate because we feel like on the surface it's really not affecting a lot of people, but it actually does affect quite a few people and has done so for quite a while. There are some changes and things that are coming about as in this sector of real estate that I think would be beneficial for all of us to pay attention to and to be sure that we can help out with, whether that's by partaking in some of the things that are coming about or by just sharing the information with someone else who might be interested. And so today's topic is going to be on urban farming. Now, like I said, urban farming is something that most people, or farming in general, I should say, is something that most people really don't associate with real estate in terms of how it can help to strengthen communities in terms of building generational wealth and the business aspect of farming. Most people think of farmers to be just people who, live on the outskirts. They maybe not think of them as building generational wealth. We usually, when we think of farmers, we think of people who are working thousands and thousands of acres of land, using big tractors and things of that nature. And while that is the case in the way of agriculture, especially large farmers who do farm thousands of acres of land and produce mass amounts of food for not just their families, but for families across the country and even the world. They play, we think about them playing a significant role in the expansion of our gross domestic product. We very rarely think about those people who are flying below such a high radar and the impact that they are having on communities as well. And so I very recently through my community work with an organization that I've been a part of for quite a while, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, stumbled across the idea of urban farming. And while I'm from people who were farmers, in the last few generations, my family has, for the main part, stepped away from that. My immediate family, I should say, and we become more urbanized and more accustomed to living a city life. That even for us, the idea of farming and how it helped to strengthen our community and to keep our family together has kind of since been forgotten. And so I wanted to just share a little bit of information with you guys about urban farming and what actually urban farming is. And so I'd like to give a specific definition for that so that you guys will be able to look it up like I do everything and give you a resource that you can go to that's reputable. So actually urban farming is the practice of cultivating crops, livestock, or food in urban or city-like areas. So that's really all it is. It can also include the processing and distribution of agricultural products, as well as animal husbandry, aquaculture, beekeeping, horticulture. Examples of urban farming can include community gardens, rooftop farms, hydroponic facilities, and then vertical production, which all of these things are things that have been around for quite a long time, like I said, and have just really come to the forefront for people living in urban spaces here very recently. The idea of urban farming has lots of benefits, and I don't want to give the opinion that urban farming is something that's easy. It's not necessarily an easy task to undertake. It does take for people to really be diligent about learning the ways that they can have a positive impact on their communities through urban farming, and recognizing that it is not a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that, and it's not something that's just like a flyover idea where you can make a lot of things happen really quickly in terms of the farming. That's just not to say that for some people things don't go faster than others. I'm just saying I want people to go into this idea knowing that there's work involved, and that there are processes that are involved, and that there are pathways to take to really maximizing the opportunities that come with the idea of urban farming. And so what I want to tell you is that the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, is really pushing to create more urban farmers, because as I understand it, there are about 18 states in the United States where they have a majority of people in certain parts of those states living in food deserts, which means that those people do not have access on a regular basis to fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh meats. So not having access to fresh food actually impacts the health of those individuals in the community. It actually increases food pricing when there's a scarcity in the areas. So it makes it more difficult for those people who are experiencing the adversities of having little to no income. It impacts their ability in a negative way to be able to acquire healthier foods. In some ways, when there's a food desert, depending on the economic level of some of the people and the families in the communities, children may go to school and be hungry. Or it may be that their lunch is the only meal that they're getting throughout the day. So they'll eat their lunch, whatever that is, and then they'll, if that's even being provided, and then they'll go home in the evening and they won't have any food available for them to have for dinner with their family. And so that's one of the ways that urban farming and doing it in a responsible manner can have a positive impact on the community. There are different avenues that you can take with urban farming. You can farm for just your family and your loved ones. You can also farm for profit. And so there are lots of programs out there for micro loans, loans that are geared towards helping you to get the materials and the resources that you need to be able to begin the farming. And if you have already started the process of farming, you can use those same type of programs to help you expand your operation to do more. The other thing is that the USDA and the farmers are having a big push to right the wrongs that have occurred through systemic processes that were unequal and discriminatory towards, Black farmers and farmers that are of different races. Because some of those policies that have been in place historically have denied those people, farmers who are people of color, access to financial opportunities that would have helped them to strengthen their farms and grow them. During the COVID pandemic, the Black farmers experienced a grave disparage disparaging situation. It was grave for them. A lot of them had to go out of business because while there was relief provided to farmers because of the ramifications of us having such rapid COVID infections throughout our country, those farmers were then compensated for some of their losses. And I want to say that of the hundreds of billions of dollars that went out, Black farmers only received 0.01% of those proceeds, those monies that had been set aside to relieve the farmers because of the impact that they're being exposed to, the trickle down effects of having a COVID pandemic occurred, how that occurred for our country. And so we are about 4 years into 4 years out of what could be considered the worst of the pandemic. And now there is a big push for the African American farmers to be compensated or receive some sort of restitution for the disparaging way that they were treated during the COVID pandemic. And so some $2 billion have been approved by the Biden administration for those farmers to try to recoup some of the losses that they experienced as a result of that. There is also a very large push in the USDA for women to become more involved in agriculture and for us to get more involved in food production or, like I said before, other areas such as agritourism. And that is very important because just like we need processes for farming foods for us to eat, we also need processes for replenishing the land when we use it for such practices. And so agritourism, conservation, these are other things that farmers have to really look at to make sure that they can not only sustain their farms, but, keep the earth safe for us to continue to live on it and to be able to use those replenished resources. They need to be really, really cognizant of conservation. And so one of the ways that we can help with conservation as it relates to the soil and the land is to engage in agritourism, which is basically just people who are growing beautiful flowers and they are maybe beekeepers, for example. Yes, beekeepers produce honey, but the way bees are connected with the earth and how they pollinate flowers and things, that is bringing life to that source of foliage. And so therefore, we are actually taking steps to conserve the land and to, keep what I would call the circle of life going. So there's so many resources that are available for us to learn more about agriculture as it relates to urban farming. I would strongly advise everyone to go to farmers.gov if you want to understand the programs and the things that are going on within your state that are going to help you to start the process to becoming a farmer. And they have all sorts of resources available to help you to figure out your business plan for farming, because you will need that. That will help you to understand the processes for tapping into the financial resources that are available through USDA and other organizations as it relates to urban farming. They have all sorts of different programs to help you decide what kind of farmer you want to be, what kind of crops you want to grow. They have organizations that can help you navigate that as well. And it's just they are really pushing for there to be an increase in the number of urban farmers that exist in our society so that they can contribute to the the problem, the growing problem of there being food deserts and there being all of these disparages that are connected with that. The other thing that I want to point out is that I'm not sure if I've said it in earlier in the previously in today's episode, but I do want to remind everyone that there are lots of initiatives out there through USDA.gov to help farmers and their families. So there's programs that are available to help children get started with farming. They actually have loan programs where kids, that are designed specifically for kids, where they can use those funds from the loan to be able to purchase seed and other products and things that they may need to set themselves up to be successful farmers. They have great little ways that they work with the kids to get those kids set up and for them to utilize those funds in the most productive way. And they also have mechanisms in place in case things happen that are beyond our control, such as natural disasters and things of that nature, where they can help you should you suffer losses from your crops due to such instances, specifically natural occurrences. Natural weather occurrences being the most common happening in a particular area. Also, the USDA has programs to help you acquire tractors, to help you build hoop houses, which are in essence greenhouses of different shapes and sizes, using different materials and things of that nature. Each individual farm service agency, they are actually broken down by state and then by county and then by regions. And those particular organizations are your first stop in setting yourselves up to be recognized as farmers. So you don't go to the USDA to do that. You go to your local farm service agency office. You can locate the office closest to you or the one that services your city or county by simply going to farmers.gov and just following the prompts to locate your local farmer and rancher's office. This is a great program, and they have great programs for people, even if you've never started, been a farmer, or even if you've never planted anything in your life. One of the resources that they have is a resource for beginning farmers and ranchers, and this is through USDA, and so each state in the United States has what they call beginning farmer and rancher coordinators. And so you can reach out to your local coordinator and they can help you with doing lots of things. Like I said, trying to figure out how to determine what your soil is like, what the irrigation is like in the area that you're planning on farming in. They can help you develop your business plan, find land and capital resources. They can help you figure out what to grow and how to sell that you're growing. A lot of people don't realize this, which is that the farmers markets, a lot of the reason that we should support our local farmer markets is because those farmers are actually growing food, produce, flowers, and the like, and they are coming to the market to sell to people who are local to them. So usually you're probably, more than likely going to get a better price from the farmers at the farmers market in a lot of cases than you would, say, in your retail grocery establishment. I also wanted to point out in the state of Tennessee, where I am currently residing, in June, the Tennessee Farm Service Agency reminded producers that FSA, which is the Farm Services Agency. They targeted farm ownership and farm operating loans to assist underprivileged and underserved applicants, as well as beginning farmers and ranchers. And so a portion each year of the FSA's loan funds are set aside to lend to these targeted, underserved, and beginning farmers and ranchers. Farming and livestock production are capital intensive businesses. So our executive director in Tennessee for FSA recognizes that and is committed to helping producers start, expand, and maintain their agricultural operations. And so Tennessee FSA has obligated 307 loans totaling $58.8 million towards targeted, underserved, and beginning producers. Additionally, 29 loans totaling $2.8 million were made available for veterans who want to delve into the world of farming, and these are farm operating loans and farm ownership loans. So not only are they giving you the opportunity to build a farm with land that you already have, they are also giving you opportunities to purchase farms that are already established and that are already running. And then in addition to customary farm operating and ownership loans, FHA is also offering these micro loans through the Direct Loan Program, which is a federal government program. The focus of the micro loans is on the financing needs of small beginning niche and non-traditional farm operations such as truck farms, farms participating in direct marketing and sales, such as farmers markets, CSAs, which in this case stands for Community Supported Agriculture, restaurants, grocery stores, or those using hydroponic, aquaponic, organic, or vertical growing methods. And so once you get hooked up with your farm service agency, they will probably refer you to the NCRC, which is the National Conservation Resource Service, and I said it wrong. It's the NCRS, and they are the group that helps you to figure out what kind of land you have, if it's highly erodible land, and then they can help you create a plan to get your soil and your land ready for planting and ready to receive the seed that you may be growing there. Also, you don't necessarily have to farm in the ground, so they're not looking for urban farmers to be planting traditional gardens. I know some farmers that farm out of planter boxes. I know of one particular farmer who is using like the 5-pound paint buckets to grow potatoes and things of that nature. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the traditional way of farming. They have silos and things like that they will allow funding for you to receive to retain the crops that you grow and to help keep them safe from rodents or things like that, especially if you're growing like a grain or corn or something like that. And they also have just a plethora of resources. If you go to farmers.gov, there you will see so much information. It'll take you so long to sift through all of the information that is present there. In terms of women in agriculture, this is actually something that's fairly new. I do know that in 2026, that is considered the International Year of the Woman Farmer, and led by efforts from the USDA, the United Nations has designated that year as the International Year of the Woman Farmer to spotlight the essential role of women in agriculture. So I personally know of a nice young woman who started out, had a career in accounting, And she had this career in accounting, and then COVID happened. And so she had to figure out something to do. She was actually living in central Tennessee, and she moved back west, was able to use the resources that she had to get involved in farming. And so now she has a wonderful farm with lots of acreage. She's not only raising crops, but she's raising cattle as well. And it has become something that her entire family has become involved in and is working with her. There is also a really interesting thing going on locally. I'm in Memphis, so we have the Works, which is a community development corporation, also engaging in farming. They have the Works Farms. There are lots of other individuals. There's one particular farmer that I've met earlier this year through my community works. He goes by, his name is Reggie. He runs Reggie's Veggies. You can find them on social media, Facebook. He does a lot of things to help young kids in the community to get into farming and to understand a lot of the different nuances that, as they relate to farming, that exist in terms of how you can grow, and as well take advantage of the financial programs that are there, that exist. And in addition to that, he's been very instrumental in helping another community-based organization that I know to spread the word. And so our goal really is to increase the number of urban farmers that we have in West Tennessee, specifically Shelby, Tipton, Fayette, and Hardeman counties, so that we can continue to receive the benefits that come from USDA in terms of financial incentives for helping us to sustain our farms. And hopefully by doing these things, we are able to get a better handle on what our community needs in terms of agriculture and food, and we are able to work as a collective to solve those problems. And so I urge you, if you don't know anything about farming but you're interested in figuring out how you can become one, it costs nothing to have your property designated as a farm so that you can start working to receive these benefits. All you have to do is go to farmers.gov. If you're in the Shelby County area, you can just go to the Agri-Center off of Walnut Grove, to the Farmers FSA Farmer Services Agency, and be able to apply for your farm number there. It takes about an hour to do so, and like I said, it's free of charge. And from there, you'll be able to gather information and glean the process for getting involved and getting your farm involved in the programs that will generate revenue so that you can grow it and over time create generational wealth for yourself and your family. And so with that being said, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Kate Thompson, and this has been A Lesson in Real Estate. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye now.